I'm a believer that your life can only be as good as the quality of your thoughts. I believe that life is nothing more than perception, and that the ideas, the concepts, the belief systems that we hold craft and create the lives that we live, which is why I oftentimes, more often than not, speak on letting go of these self-imposed limitations such as, racism, sexism, homophobia, etc., and letting those be the barriers that we use upon ourselves, mind you, because that's exactly what's happening. When I use racism as a reason I can't succeed, I'm using it as an excuse. There is not enough racism in the world that's going to stop an individual who's going to make it happen. Simple as that. And you can see it throughout historic context, all the way back into Jim Crow, right? Even as early as just at the brink of the Emancipation Proclamation. 1865, the damn day, there were individuals already stepping into creating wealth, stepping into, creating levels of provision for their family in ways that they never had before, building their own ecosystems, etc. Right? Even after the Democratic Party was fighting to keep slavery intact, and they brought Jim Crow along and, tried to filibuster the civil rights throughout that entire time, there were black folks who were able to make things happen that unfortunately aren't being replicated at this point because of this excuse of, the system of racism and system of inequity and sexism. It's so ironic. It's like the patriarchy is used as such an excuse in a day and age where there's more women in universities and corporate America than there is men, right? Now we decide to complain the most about it. When we have more human rights than we've ever had throughout the entirety of history is when we cry the most about it. But that's a conversation for another time. What I really want to get into right now is the reality that so-called hip hop and rap culture in its modern context is simply making us dumber. Now, this can be said for a lot of media, I guess you would say, things on social media, a lot of social media, television, if people are even watching that, whereas, shows and things of that nature. But I hone down specifically on rap music because there is such a concerted effort. It's almost as if there is no deviation, right? If you go into television, you're going to see that there's the dumb, slapsticky, just brainless, brain rot sort of content. And then there's introspective, interesting sorts of things out there, right? Same as social media. Though you'll find a lot of brain rot, you will also find a lot of deep, introspective things that, allow you to think deeper than the surface. But when it comes to rap and what is presented to us and the culture that is pushed through rap, and, majority of it has been drill music that has taken over. First with Chicago drill, and it became New York drill, and everybody's got some sort of drill, or trap music, which is ironic if you just look at the name itself. Trap music, what do you think it's going to do for you? What sort of mentality are you going to be in when you listen to something that traps? I'll leave y'all with that one. Rap is making us dumber. It is normalizing, because I think this is the biggest thing, right? And I oftentimes bring up Sexy Red. She's a trope for me. She's like an archetype, a caricature at this point. And she really is a caricature. If you look at her, it's like she was molded by this, this machine that is looking to create like the ultimate ignorance, the ultimate representation of degeneracy, or the caricature of, a black woman, which many of those are disgusting to most true black women. But nevertheless, here's a caricature. And unfortunately, marketing works. Unfortunately, promotion of messages and the repetition of messages work. So I could really get into the conversation of low vibration. I could get into the conversation of repetition, right? And the power of repetition in conditioning the mind. But I want to simplify it. I don't even have to get too deep into the esoteric elements or the unseen, but instead just look at what's happening as a byproduct. Look at what is being promoted and look at how it's affecting everyday people. So hip hop culture started in New York, right? The many elements of hip hop, and there was a lot of positivity. It was a way to take some of that negative energy people were experiencing and to transmute it into something positive, right? Whether it was art forms like graffiti, etc., whether it was break dancing and different forms of dancing. and you had the DJs and things of that nature. Then obviously you had MCs and you had the party lifestyle. And all of a sudden, and people like to talk about how there was the secret meetings that were being had and how there were these white executives who pushed a certain narrative. And that may be true. That may be 100% true. But I'm always a personal accountability, personal agency guy. And so I say there were individuals who made decisions to be a part of that system. So they are the sellout as much as the quote unquote white executive. The white executive isn't the one who's putting on this caricature. It's individuals who have a lack of integrity and morality. And unfortunately, even a lot of the people who say they never would do that would probably do it at a certain level. With a certain check presented to them, a lot more people than we think would take that opportunity. Which is why when you see a Sexy Red, whoever it is, there was enough of a check for her to just be absolutely degenerate and absolutely dysfunctional, and to promote that message and to make it okay, and to know that there are little girls on the other side of that screen who are watching and listening who are going to be affected, and to not care. There was a check big enough for her to sell what was left of her soul. And it's usually easier with those who are already susceptible, those who already have, because again, it's a cycle. It's like, and it's gotten, progressively worse. There was a time where the Uncle Luke's, what is it? The 405 Boys, or is it? Let me see. Cotton Gang, what was it? 504 Boys? Is that what they were? Is that what they were? Nah, that ain't even them. That's Master P. Uncle Luke and them. How am I forgetting? Uncle Luke and them. Uncle Luke was a part of 2 Live Crew. That's what it was. I knew there was number in there somewhere. 2 Live Crew. They were the epitome of this taboo, booty shaking music. I mean, they had some of the most explicit lyrics and things that would still kind of be shell shock in this day and age. However, there is a lot of that. That has become the status quo in essence, as far as the representation within the actual imagery of half-dressed, if not almost fully undressed women, the hyper-sexualization of men and women, the criminal elements, right? Not just partying as far as, hey, ho, we gonna have a good time. It's not that anymore. It ain't hey, ho no more. It ain't this is how we do it. No, it ain't that no more.
I used to be afraid of the dark, place unknown like a heart in their heart. I used to see my life in the bar. Now the kids unchained, every shackle is lost. 2 steps in the moonlight, 2 step in the daytime. You just know when it feel right. You got a feeling the time's night. See you through those shades that I just threw on. Through my lenses, you just can't do no wrong. I fell in love with myself again. I fell in love with myself. I fell in love with the sunshine. I fell in love with the light. I fell in love with the full moon. I fell in love with the night. I can see the light again. I can see the light. You can see the life in him illuminate the night. I know the time is taking. A 365, that's a full rotation. I see you looking up, you know them constellations. Constantly gazing like house of praises, you get to praising.